We are $14 billion in debt to Kuwait due to their assistance in our war. They have not responded to our contacts to relinquish this debt. What are we going to do? We need the money.
Well, since the U.S. gave us weapons, military intelligence, and special operations training, we are now the fourth largest military in the world. If we invade and annex Kuwait, they will be forced to forgive our debt from the Iran-Iraq war. And we will control a large portion of the world's oil supply.
The tanks are 20 minutes ahead of us, and the airplanes are right behind us.
We are going to take over the palace and overthrow the emir. Let's move on.
There's the palace! The Emir is in the palace, the red thing!
Sir, I bring news from Kuwait. The attack on Kuwait was successful. However, the Emir and his family have fled into the Saudi Arabian desert.
That is menial. We have control of Kuwait. That is all that matters.
Mr. President, what steps are being taken to protect the Americans already in Kuwait?
I'm not going to discuss what we're doing in terms of moving of forces, or anything of that nature. But I view it very seriously, not just that, but any threat to any other countries. As well as I view very seriously our determination to reverse out this aggression. And please believe me, there are an awful lot of countries who are in accord with what I've just said, and I salute them. They are staunch friends and allies, and we will be working with them all for collective action. This will not stand. This will not stand, this aggression against Kuwait. Sir, the UN has given us resolution after resolution, and we continue to ignore them. They are on the brink of war. What do you suggest?
It doesn't matter! I am going to fight for the country that is rightfully ours!
Yes. Thank you to Prime Minister Thatcher. Thank you.
Hello, Prime Minister speaking.
Yes, Prime Minister. I'm here to talk to you about the issue in Kuwait. The Iraqis have completely ignored the UN's resolutions and warnings, and we have no choice but to call another Security Council.
Yes, I agree that's the necessary precautions that we need to take.
I know, and I completely agree.
All right.
They need to be stopped.
Okay, see you within the month. Government has not responded to any of our previous resolutions, we will be forced to launch a full-fledged attack if they do not leave Kuwait by January 15th.
If this goes through, this will be the first multinational cooperation since the Cold War. Are we in agreement?
The Soviets agreed to the resolution.
France will agree to this war.
The Chinese abstain from this vote.
The majority rules that Resolution 678 is passed.
So, it's January 15th, We have yet to give them a response. Soon, according to their resolution, they will invade us.
I stand by my previous statement. I am prepared to go to war for a country that is rightfully ours.
As of January 16th, the Iraqi government has not responded to our ultimatum. We're shipping out.
Hello, Kathy Jenkins reporting in. As of January 15th, Iraq has not responded to our ultimatum. This means that we are now going to start invading them. At this time, it will only be naval and aircraft that will be invading.
Crisis alert!
Hello, Kathy Jenkins here, live from the Persian Gulf. Today, on January 25th, 1991, Iraqi soldiers have busted open millions of gallons of Kuwaitian oil and dumped it into the Persian Gulf. As of now, authorities have told us that the reason why this oil is dumped in the Persian Gulf is because the Iraqi soldiers are trying to prevent U.S. Marines from landing.
Crisis alert!
Hello, Kathy Jenkins here, reporting on one of the worst fires in natural history. In Kuwait, around the end of January, Iraqi soldiers have begun to light the Kuwaitian oil wells on fire. As of this time, early February, they're still raging. Hello, you might have just seen me standing in the oil fields that were on fire in Kuwait. Authorities speculate that the reason why Saddam has set these on fire is because he does not want any other country to share in the prosperity that Kuwait has in its oil. Another speculation is that he's mad at the Kuwaitian royal families and is trying to get them back. Today, on February 22nd, George Bush has issued a 24-hour ultimatum. If Iraqi troops do not leave Kuwait in 24 hours, then ground troops will invade.
It doesn't matter! I am going to fight!
Today, on February 24th, 1991, the Allied forces began their ground assault to take back Kuwait from the Iraqi government. This marks a momentous occasion in war history because for the first time we will be able to live stream the war in its entirety from the front lines.
Today, on February 26, only 2 days after the Allied ground assault began, Saddam Hussein ordered immediate withdrawal of Iraqi troops from Kuwait. This mass exodus of Iraqi troops from Kuwait was intercepted by Allied forces. It was then bombed heavily and resulted in what authorities are now calling the Highway of Death.
My fellow Americans, I'm proud to announce that on this day, February 28th, we have officially retaken Kuwait, and soon we will begin a ceasefire negotiations with the Iraqi government to end this Persian Gulf War. My fellow Americans, on this day, April 7th, just 5 weeks after we and our allies have driven the Iraqi President Saddam Hussein army from Kuwait, Iraq has said yesterday that it will accept the United Nations terms for a formal ceasefire in the Persian Gulf War. This is a new era. This is an era of multinational cooperation and execution of universally accepted principles of peace and prosperity.
10 hours underground war, 2:30 p.m. Began a massive artillery barrage onto the Iraqi positions. Oh yeah! Yes! One of their key weapons is launch rocket system.
The big ones I can't stop.
You don't stop.
As each of the rockets burst in the air above the it scattered 644 bombs. It was as if they were being showered by hand grenades. In just over 30 minutes, more than 500,000 of these bomblets landed on the Iraqi troops. As the artillery died down, more than 150,000 coalition troops and over 1,500 tanks began their advance.
Saddam knew he couldn't keep Kuwait much longer, but he was still determined to show the Americans he had the capacity to hit them where it hurt.
He ordered his troops inside Kuwait to counterattack against the US Marines. But they couldn't match the Americans' firepower, nor halt their relentless drive towards Kuwait City. However, Saddam still had one last sting in his tail.